So what are you doing, Jimmy?
I'm just having some fun, getting a little bit of exercise, you know. And a man as young as I am, we need exercise.
Jimmy's digging a hole. See, we got an auger right there, and Jimmy's digging a hole. Now there's a reason for that, because there's rocks in the ground, and those rocks need to be dug out. Now you'd think digging a hole, not a big deal. We all dig holes, especially boys. We grew up digging holes. And so when you look and say, oh, what kind of skill set does it take to dig a hole? Well, I gotta tell you, I didn't think it was a big deal until I started watching Jimmy dig holes. I'm like, how do you get so much dirt on this shovel? I mean, how lame is that? And I'm looking like, man, that guy can dig a hole. So anyways, we're using the auger, and he's digging out rocks, and he's digging the holes deeper and making them good for what we need done. And I was like, man, I'm impressed. And it's like crazy, the things that people can do. And a lot of stuff you think, oh, that's not a big deal. And then you can't do it, somebody else does, and you're like, wow. Simple things like digging a hole. And you know, it's interesting how a lot of times we will consider what, you know, kids these days, what job do you want? And you know, think of these big grandiose things, and you know, and some people, yeah, they're going to be in big grandiose things, but nobody, we don't think so much today is like, what are you good at and what makes you happy? And a lot of times things that make you happy you're not good at. I mean, American Idol kind of proved that. Now we've got a whole slew of different shows of people that think they can do something, think they can sing, think they can dance, think they can do a lot of things, but actually they can't. And somebody needs to tell them, you need to find something that you can do, because you know what? Just because you want to doesn't necessarily mean you can. And even the simple things, digging a hole. Like, I'm watching Jimmy dig a hole. I'm like, I'm learning something. It's crazy. And you would think that that's not a big deal. But he was talking to me about when he was a kid and started digging holes. And he's like, one lady he was working for said, he was like, why do you keep getting me to dig holes? Because you dig holes good. You know, and it's crazy. And I'm glad I have him here. I'm glad he's here adding a skill that a lot of people would just think is insignificant. And it's something that's really helping me get the job done in the church a lot of times. Paul talks about it, and he says that there's a lot of gifts that people want, and they desire, you know, to have the big, you know, the big gifts and whatever it is. But it's everything. It's a gift of helps. It's the gift of encouragement. It's a gift of hospitality. It's these gifts that a lot of people think, oh, that's not preaching, and that's not teaching, and you know, that's not speaking in tongues, or that's not miracles or prophecies. Like, what do you mean? I just help? Yeah, you just help, and you do it well. And you know, I find that especially at Hammond Valley, gift of helps people have, the gift of hospitality people have, and those are the gifts that are literally make Hammond Valley Community Church a church that I'm honored to be part of. Not because it has, you know, awesome preaching, you know, it's not because it has great music, or not because it has, I mean, those things are great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but what is it that creates longevity? What is it that creates the structure of the church? It's people that know how to love, and people that know how to work within their gifts, and people that recognize what they're good at, and they do it. And some people don't even recognize that they're good at it. They just do it. And it's interesting. A lot of people think that what they're doing is so simple, so it can't be that big of a deal. And yet people like me, who look at somebody digging a hole, said, man, I can't do that. And I'm watching and I'm learning. And that's what the gifts are for. It says the gifts are for the edification of the building up of the church. So whatever gift you have is to teach other people to do it. Supernatural capacity to do a spiritual act of worship and service. That's what a spiritual gift is. And God calls us to whatever gift that we have to use it for the building up of the church. I'm honored to be part of the church I'm at. I'm honored to know people like Jimmy that teach me things. And don't ever look down on yourself because you don't think that your gifts are spectacular enough. The only thing God says is whatever gift you've got, use it. Stir up the gifts that you've been given. So hope that's an encouragement to you. I've got to go watch Jimmy dig holes and try to do it as good as he does. All right, God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.